What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Corner Show. I'm your boy HC of the Chicago Black Delegation podcast. And today's episode, we're gonna be featuring a, I guess, a rising star that somebody that's kind of just went viral out of nowhere. A Patriot Baddie, apparently, who seemed to be a. You know what? I think I'm just playing the viral clip itself. I think it needs no introduction. I think we should just present it and let y'all be the judge of what you kind of see. So. Trump won. Get over it.
Don't be mad, her president won.
Get off the plantation. My people,
get off the plantation. Get off the plantation. You hear this so often from these black Trump supporters, especially those Negro-peans. Those Negro-peans they love dropping that get off that plantation land. I don't know if they got it from Candace. I don't know if they got it from Thomas Sowell. I don't know who they got it from. But yes, they love to tell Negroes to get off that Democratic plantation, and I think there's a lot of nuance that needs to go first. That needs to come first. But let's keep going. Let's see what she got to say, man. Maybe something important happens.
Get off the plantation. Get off the plantation. You be like that white man call you that one. You like that freaky man. Oh, good Lord. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
I believe she said, y'all vote Democrat every time. Y'all don't get anything, right?
Don't do shit, and then when I don't vote Democrat, they're like, you're a sellout.
Because it's low vibration. It's low.
Yeah, so, and we definitely get a lot of that going on. Vote Democrat. I mean, if you don't vote Democrat, then you're a sellout. If you vote for Trump, you're a sellout. And I don't want to get too far into it yet without going over some other content first. But yeah, this is something that I would say is problematic. I would definitely say it's a problem. Calling just immediately resorting to that type of attack when there should be a more nuanced, more thought-provoking conversation that could happen from that, and it simply just kind of starts with the question of why. There's actually debaters on all across YouTube that will simply ask, they will actually invite Trump supporters to call in, and then they ask them, "Hey, so why did you vote for Trump?" And then these people, I mean, you just kind of get next to no response after next to no response. Like just a bunch of a lot of answers relegated to his character, his willingness to go against the status quo or whatever. Just a lot of things that has nothing to do with the things that actually matter. The policies. What legislation does he support? I mean, it's as if they only listen to the viral clips or whatever, but they don't necessarily they have not sat down and watched the campaign. They haven't watched him speak in any of these they have not followed the campaign in any sort of responsible manner. I don't know what to say. It's kind of just weird to watch stuff like that kind of happening. During that whole election cycle, I'm sitting there watching as many of the rallies as I possibly could, like in its entirety. You know what I mean? And they were kind of lengthy. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, how you gonna know? How am I gonna like, how am I gonna be voting for somebody and not know exactly what's gonna come from me voting for them? You know, I was gonna have to vote. I was gonna vote for one of the two. That's just kind of what I kind of decided to do. And I was more so just along the lines of, okay, which of these two candidates was gonna best serve myself and my family, you know. And I mean, first of all, it was kind of handled quite sloppily, but I'm not gonna get too far into it. But this past election, in my opinion, was handled quite sloppily on both sides. But I just kind of feel like Donald Trump's like campaign, his rallies was just a lot more sloppy. But it gets to the point where I didn't even think he'd be a relevant pick. He wasn't gonna be even viable option. And then lo and behold, I was, boy, to my dismay, he was actually elected. But anyway, I don't want this girl to throw this sand in my face telling me to get over it. I definitely got over it, but I'm still like very much so concerned about like his line of decision making and the current state of like, you know, of America. I mean, not just the economy, but like, geez, like look at the whole fucking thing. The safety is like there's the thing that we have to be concerned with now. So yeah, let's see what's kind of happened.
Vibration.
Literally. What the other Democrats do for y'all? Nothing.
They're just mad.
Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the proof at?
Okay, so that's her first video here. Then she has some kind of dude recording, telling, like, kind of egging her on and stuff like that. But why does something like this go viral? I mean, you got a black chick vote, you know, in a red, white, and blue outfit, in a little flag outfit, and she got a big flag, you know, in support of, you know, showing her or displaying her support for Donald Trump, like we get. So, but yeah, why does it go viral? I mean, it's just abnormal, you know, right? Like you see the voter turnout, like black women make up about, I think between 5 and 8% of the United States population, and they vote 92% of those black women that voted. 92% of them voted for Kamala Harris. There's a great deal of black women that didn't vote, mind you, but yet again, black women definitely showed up for the Democratic Party, and that's a good thing. I'm glad. I think it's good that a group can largely vote on one accord, you know. And I know some people like to say, "Oh, well, black people aren't a monolith, and we shouldn't want to be a monolith." Look. When it comes to certain things, like I would almost say most things, we should be on one accord. We should be a monolith, if you want to call it that. But anyway, so I'm just like I said, as far as this girl but again, just going into why she went viral. Yeah, it's just unusual to see a black woman in support of Donald Trump like this. I mean, like she's skinny. She would be considered attractive by like a lot of guys. So it's just like, it's kind of just one of those things where it's just you know, I guess a recipe for a disaster. But I mean, I for the most part support her free speech. Like she can do like kind of what she wants and all that stuff. And ultimately, like things like the wrong way of addressing these types of like situations is through anger. You know what I mean? The right thing to do with this in this type of situations, actually have the conversation with these people, and again, just have honest and open dialogue about it. You know what I mean? So she probably could be saved, but you know, let's go. But she has another video, kind of explaining, well, not exactly explaining what happened, but kind of introducing herself, let everybody know what she's about. So let's see what she says here.
My videos have been going viral across multiple different platforms, and I think it's time I reintroduce myself. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an independent. Some might say I'm libertarian. I don't know. I'm right in the middle. I think there's things.
So, real quick, she says she's not a Republican or a Democrat. She she claims to be an independent, which is a good thing. That's that's what we're supposed to be. Everybody in America should be independent voters. They should not be subscribed to any either of the two parties because either of these two parties is their policy crafting, their allegiances, whom they like the lobbyists, like which of the lobbyists that they that they do business with, like bro, all of this stuff, like the capitalists, the people with all the money and all that stuff, whom actually funds them, who funds these individual politicians of either of these two parties, all of this stuff changes almost all the time. So you would be pretty, I would argue to say you'd be pretty foolish to put all your eggs in either of these two parties all the time. Because again, if you're not keeping up with how their allegiances swaying and change and stuff like that, you may just find out like too late or find out the hard way that that politician may not represent you or your ideals what I mean to say is you may find out the hard way that these individual politicians just may not support the ideals, or they may not be the same person that you thought they were. I don't know what else to kind of say about that. So I mean, I will always recommend everybody either whatever group you subscribe yourself to, black, orange, white, police, whatever. It's best for you to be independent voters. But as far as her, people saying that she's a libertarian, I want to show people like all of these, what all these political parties really mean, right? Just kind of clear the air on a lot of these different types of names, stuff like that. This is not simply Democrat. This is not simply Republican. It won't be right now though. It's gonna make the video a little bit too long. But what I will say is, I don't know. I can't confirm that she's a libertarian per se. But if you are a libertarian, that means you believe in next to no government involvement in anything. So I don't know what it'll kind of be completely based on what policies this individual woman supports, and if the majority of her solutions revolve around as little government involvement whatsoever. With her being black and with her being not a rich person, I would say that it is less likely for her to be a libertarian. But not I know there's other individuals that are very well acclimated with what libertarian is, and they still chose to be libertarians despite not being rich individuals. So let's keep going. Let's see what else she has to say.
Things I don't like about the Democratic Party, and there's things I don't like about the Republican Party. And the wrong idea of saying I'm a black conservative or I'm a black liberal. I have some conservative ideas or ideologies, and I also have some liberal ideologies. So I'm not really a black conservative, but I am a black Trump supporter, which is just as bad, if not worse, than to the liberals. But here's the funny thing about liberals. They hated me just as much as they do now as a Trump supporter as when I was just an independent supporting Kennedy. So you don't even have
I think it's Robert F. Kennedy, right? Which is strange. I have no idea why she supports Robert F. Kennedy. Maybe I might search it up real quick. I don't know, but Robert F. Kennedy really wasn't all that, honestly. It just really wasn't. I mean, like, yeah, that dude definitely has some like weird takes lately. I can't really necessarily support him. I liked him initially because he had that one conversation with Killer Mike. But like, I think Killer Mike is gonna I think Killer Mike is the type of dude, is the type of brother that'll bring out the best out of like pretty much any politician, because the direction he's gonna send the conversation is gonna be is gonna be towards investment into like youth and investment into like the impoverished class, right? So when you kind of talk good things about the impoverished class and offer solutions for the impoverished class and make promises, or just talk solutions about the impoverished class, that sounds good at the very least, especially in the direction that Killer Mike is gonna spearhead it. Yeah, you can pretty much like almost any politician. I'm pretty sure even Donald Trump would have did well in the conversation with Killer Mike. However, Donald Trump is just a big fucking liar. So, like, who knows? Who knows if Killer Mike would actually press them on actually making those suggestions or solutions, actual promises.
To be like against them if you're not with them.
And real, I got to put this out there too, because and the reason I say that is because we saw what he said about the platinum plan. I'm gonna keep bringing this up every time I talk about Donald Trump, and every time I talk about Donald Trump, at least when I'm talking about black people, like the platinum plan looked fucking amazing. Like it looked really really good. I did a review of it on my other channel. It was extremely promising. What happened to it, I have no fucking clue. It's like he forgot about it. Kanye forgot about it. All of the people that interviewed him during this election, during this campaign, his campaign tour, nobody seemed to remember. You know what I'm saying? It's really just like baffling that he kind of got away with like murder as far as the platinum plan is concerned. But yeah, I could have told this girl like, hey, why you think he didn't support the platinum plan? You know, and maybe that would have changed the man a little bit. Like I don't know.
They treat you the same way. I'm not somebody that would have supported Republicans anyway. The left got so bad and went so far left, I ended up going to the other side. That's what I want the story to be. You leftists that hate me so much now, you guys are the ones that did this. You guys couldn't hold your party together. You guys wanted to keep doing this extreme woke shit. You're the reason why I left. You guys are the reason why I joined MAGA. Because at least they could keep the country secure. At least they...
Yeah, keeping this country secure. Like, that's nonsense. Yeah, bro, like, look, man. Barack Obama's the deporter in chief, man. Like, there's a lot of people that got deported under Barack Obama. Democrats deport people, and they do relatively well on the border situation. Now, this past administration, there's some things that kind of happen, kind of hard to tell. I can't necessarily pinpoint what necessarily happened with that border. I believe I recall Joe Biden talking about he's running on open borders. I think, but I don't know. Regardless, though, if Joe Biden truly did run on open borders, that would be like an anomaly. That'll be the first time this ever happened in the Democratic Party. To say that Republicans have a better control of like the border and anything like that, it's not necessarily historically accurate, but like looking at what Joe Biden, how things kind of happen under Joe Biden. It's definitely like problematic, but what I will say is like the border situation has always been kind of a mess anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean people have always been coming through Texas, under Democrats and under Republicans. But like I guess, like I said, for some reason it became like really bad under Joe Biden. But we can't say that the Democrats don't support. What I mean to say, we can't say that the party as a whole has a problem with the border, because for the simple reason that like Kamala Harris, not Kamala Harris, but the Democrats had proposed a bill to remedy that situation on the border, and the Republicans voted against it because Donald Trump essentially wanted to run on it. Yeah, I know Byron Donalds tried to say that, they try to pass money to Ukraine in that bill, and that's why they voted against it. I'm just like, it's dumb for him to say something like that, because like Ukraine, I think there was an agreement that was written where America was legally obligated to send money to Ukraine and support and defend them during the war. They may not be the part of like NATO or anything like that, but there was an agreement made that we were supposed to be protecting Ukraine. So, and if money is necessary to protect them, then like so be it. But for him to try to say, it's because of the Ukraine support, that's actually like that was bullshit. But so what with no other so pretty much the current prevailing argument is Donald Trump, like he phone called all of those Republican representatives and senators and House of Representatives. He phoned them to vote down the bill because he wanted to run it on himself. That's the prevailing argument right now. So, so yeah, the Democrats do make strides towards securing the border, and yes, they do hella deporting as well. So I don't really know what this girl's kind of like really talking about here. I mean, well, I know. I'm sorry. I do know what she's talking about. She doesn't know what she's talking about, rather.
They weren't going to force us to get vaccinated. At least they weren't going to force us.
In the vaccination thing, man, whatever, man. There's a lot of. I'm gonna put it this way. There's a lot of government jobs that did not like force people to get vaccinated. Okay, there's a lot of jobs that didn't force people to get vaccinated. Not all. Maybe a whole lot of them, I get it, but like, a lot of individuals, again, a lot of individuals that I know that were actually, what's that word? What do they call those people? Essential workers. Yeah, I knew a lot of essential workers that didn't get vaccinated. So, like we were talking about.
To have biological men and women sports. So you liberal.
So. And then biological men and women's sports. I don't know what to say about that one. Like, what a contentious topic. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but like that's definitely one of those things that I see very, very common in these types of conversations. I personally don't support biological men and women's sports. Like I just don't. Don't know really how to really put that there. But I'm not. That's not something that I think. That's not something I would like stop support of a Democrat over. Like if anything, I think if anything, how do I put this? I think the smart thing to do is vote. Okay, because I'm gonna speak heavily in general here. Okay. You got two political parties, and one of them has a lot of things that you like and some things that you don't like, and the other party has a lot of things that you don't like, some things that you do like. When it comes to like the political party that has a lot of things that you do like, but you just can't really seem to get over those things that you don't like, what you're supposed to do is like do things. This is what you're supposed to do in a situation like that. You're supposed to find like-minded individuals. You're supposed to, and you're supposed to organize with them, and then make phone calls to your state representatives. Make phone calls to like just important political people. Go to town halls. Essentially, like cause like a ruckus. Not a violent ruckus or anything like that, but make it known your position on this matter. All of you need to be making known your position on these matters. So then you can kind of, and because what you're kind of doing is you're applying pressure on these politicians to essentially rethink their support of any of these these political positions, these policy positions. And again, I'm not necessarily attacking. I'm not trying to attack any of the LGBTQ plus individuals or anything like that, but I'm just saying this. I'm speaking in general here. So again, if you want, so again, the goal is to essentially, like I said, apply pressure to these politicians, and let them know that hey, we have a large group of people here, and we will vote against you if you don't do things how you're supposed to do it. If you don't, abide by our demands here. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's all like it's about the power to vote, bro. And then if those individuals like, what I mean to say is, because there's gonna be more politicians that's willing to run, and they will very much so. And there's gonna be somebody. You can find somebody that is willing to represent you that follows the policies that supports the policies that you do like, and amidst maybe a few of those policies that you don't like. But that's like how you would go about like changing or influencing a political an individual political party without having to essentially throw out the baby with the bathwater and go with somebody like Donald Trump as your president. Like, bro, you have to figure like, does the good outweigh the bad? You know what I mean?
Or reason why I joined MAGA. You guys have pushed more people to the right than the right did themselves. So y'all only have yourselves to be mad at. I was on y'all side, but y'all pushed me.
I had a conversation with another content creator once upon a time regarding this exact same matter, and it was somewhat contentious, but ultimately my goal was to get them to understand that, like, look, there's gonna be black liberals, there's gonna be black conservatives, and there's gonna be black people somewhere in the middle. You feel me? And but the right thing to do is for all of us to be organized and all of us to be on one accord anyway, despite our political affiliations. And that can start by simply inviting them to the cake. I know, hot take. I know, I get it. But fact of the matter is, if we continue to ostracize individuals that don't vote in our direction, we will lose their influence altogether. Because like, one thing I will say is, like, if we at the very least like keep them keep in like contact with them and like and show them some decent level of compassion, we'll at least be able to, like, again, at least how I would say, have them keep us in mind when it comes to like those conversations they have with those conservatives. One thing I will say, like, as a brief example, he's a black dude and he's in Donald Trump's cabinet and everything. And I'm not gonna say that he is pro blackity black and all that stuff like we are over here. But what I will say is, had he been still rooted in his blackness, right? If he had still if he was still thinking about the goodwill of black Americans, he just at the very least speak up on our behalf when Donald Trump's other cabinet members will make a decision that will negatively impact the majority black neighborhood, majority black community. But again, that's of course a lot of this is like hopeful thinking and all that stuff. It's almost like as if it was like a fantasy. But I'm just saying that in theory, this it's possible for something like this to happen. At least in my humblest opinion. But with that said, when it comes to individuals like this, with this girl, is like I told you, she felt ostracized amongst the liberal community. Had they had been more tolerable of her affiliations, of her political affiliations, she'd likely be at least more willing to hear out discussions, and then be more open-minded to like criticism regarding Donald Trump. Because if you kind of put her in a state of anger by talking to her in a very brash, evil, or just with an angry tone, she's gonna be more resilient and accepting other people holding Donald Trump accountable. Like, again, in other words, she'll become defensive. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how human behavior is. So yeah, just be like, look, I understand, like, talking to these people is like outrageous, like, just it's too much. Like, I get it, especially the older ones, like those, like the types of loops and deflections and stuff like that I've had in conversations with these older black conservatives. It's been like mind numbing. I get it. Some people just can't be reached. However, with some individuals, especially like the younger, more impressionable minds, there is easy to get through to them. You know what I mean? So, especially because like they haven't gotten that type of trauma that those older individuals had. So, with that said, I don't know, like, check her content out. Maybe pull a black conservative aside and have a nice, healthy conversation, political conversation with them, and maybe you'll be able to change their perspective on things. In the meantime, it's been Howard. Thank you for Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. I'll catch y'all on the flip side.